Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create your own Gemini gem if you don't already know how to do this. Now, let me just start out. You can create a similar tool inside of Claude using Claude projects or ChatGPT using a custom GPT. So the steps are different in terms of clicking the buttons, but the overall concept is the same. So since I personally use Gemini, I'm going to use Gemini in this video, but you can apply the same process to Claude and ChatGPT. Now, why would you even create a Gemini gem? And the answer to that question is context and memory, right? So if you think about any time that you open up a blank ChatGPT chat or Gemini chat, and you're trying to use it for work, maybe a brand that you work with, and you're trying to get good output, right? You have to constantly remind the AI or remind the chat about the context, right? This is what my brand or my client is about. These are the type of customers that buy our product, right? You're constantly front loading your prompt with context every single time. And maybe you're pasting in some documents as well. Maybe it's, this is how to write a good script, and you paste that in as an attachment. But it's the cold start problem. You're always starting from scratch. So the idea behind a Gemini gem is that we can give the AI all of this context and it will be saved in there. So every time we start a new chat with the gem, it remembers, it has the context, it has the memory. And so we don't need to remind it every time. We can just start chatting. All right, so let's walk through how to actually create a Gemini gem. And in this example, we're going to create a gem that helps us write scripts. So inside of Gemini, I'm going to expand the menu a little bit, and then I'm going to click into gems. And from here, you can see some gems that were made by Google. And if you have any gems yourself, it will be below here, but we're going to start from scratch. So I'm going to click on new gem. Now, this is what the gem builder looks like, right? We have to give it a name, a description, the instructions, which are very, very important. This is all of the context. This is effectively the system prompt. Optionally, we can give it access to a tool like deep research, or even create images with Nano Banana. And then importantly, we can give it knowledge, right? We can give it access to documents like Google Doc and even PDF files, so it has a knowledge base to work off of. All right, so in this example, why don't we build a ad script writer? So we have to give it a name, and we can be literal, ad script writer. Now, next we need to give it a description. So I'm just going to paste in a description here that says a script writer that reads our best historical ad examples and writes new ads that mimic that exact style. All right, great. So the instructions I'm going to do in a little bit. First, I want to handle the knowledge base, right? Because the knowledge base and the instructions go hand in hand, and they're the two most important parts of creating a valuable gem. So what I'm going to do here is I have these dummy documents, but just to show you the types of knowledge that you might want to feed your Gemini gem. So this document are some script frameworks, right? So it's telling the AI how to structure the ad. And there's two specific examples in here, and we're running with an AG1 example, by the way. So there's framework 1, which is the morning routine, which is a UGC style video. And then we've got framework 2, the skeptic, which is educational and founder style, right? So we're basically providing script examples or script framework. So this is knowledge document number 1. Now, in this example, we're also providing some brand voice guidelines. Your document's probably going to be much longer than this one, but you get the idea, right? We want to provide the AI with context about our brand voice. What is our tone? What are some things we do not want to say? What is our preferred vocabulary? So I'm going to pass this to the AI as knowledge as well. And then number 3, these are our winning script examples, right? So the AI knows what good looks like. So again, you can add, depending on the gem that you're creating, you can add any relevant knowledge that you want the AI to be aware of. So the way that we add this knowledge base, now to be clear, these are all in my Google Doc. You could have these as PDF, which I have in the title here. I'm going to keep them in Google Docs. So going back to Gemini, under the knowledge panel down here, it says add files for your gem to reference. I'm going to click on add files. And here you can upload files manually, which could be PDF documents. I'm going to click to add from Drive and select those 3 files. All right, so you can see I've selected those 3 files. And now the AI is aware of our script frameworks, aware of our brand guidelines, and aware of the winning ad example. So it can reference this anytime I ask it for a new script, which is really valuable. All right, now let's focus on the instructions, right? So this is very, very important because it's providing Gemini, along with the knowledge base, of the context, the instructions, and what we want it to do, how we want it to behave, how we want it to respond. Now, I think a lot of people get tripped up with prompting, right? And they think they need to be a prompt engineer to generate great prompts. To me, the best way to generate a prompt for AI is to ask AI for the prompt. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I have a new Gemini tab pulled up, and I'm going to paste in the prompt and I'll explain it. But I'm basically going to tell Gemini what I'm doing. I'm creating a gem. It's to create new ad scripts. I've got these knowledge base files. I need your help generating the prompt. All right, so here is my prompt. And I'm saying I'm building a custom Gemini gem that will act as my direct response copywriter. I need you to write the system instructions that I will paste into the gem settings. Then I'm saying here is the context, okay? So I'm telling Gemini what I'm gonna upload to the gem. I'll be uploading 3 specific files to the gem's knowledge base. And we've got the script frameworks document, the brand voice guidelines document, and the good stuff, which are the good examples. Then I'm gonna say, please write the system instructions for this gem. The instructions need to tell the gem to act as a senior copywriter, always check the frameworks to choose the right structure for the request, mimic the writing style found in the Good Stuff PDF, strictly follow the brand voice guidelines, and never use the banned words. If I provide a vague prompt, ask me clarifying questions before writing. Format the output so I can copy and paste it directly into the gem manager. All right. So again, I'm providing context just to a blank Gemini chat, asking it for help generating these instructions for this gem. And I'm giving Gemini the context of the gem. So this is the best way in any context, in my opinion, almost no matter what model you're prompting or what you're trying to accomplish. Like, prompting from scratch doesn't work. Just ask AI, give the AI enough context and just talk to it in plain English of what you're trying to do, and it will give you the prompt for you better than you could ever write it. So here is Gemini coming back with the instructions for our gem manager. And you can see we've got the role and objective, the knowledge base integration. So it's referencing these 3 documents that we already gave it, the operational workflow, tone and formatting, and important rules. Now, obviously, you would want to read this over and tweak it however you wanted. I'm going to go back into the gem and paste that in just like that. So now we have our instructions, we have our knowledge. I'm not going to select any tools because for this use case, we don't really need any. So now that we have everything set up, what we can do is come up here and click on save. And now it's going to tell you, hey, the ad script has been created. Now, if you want to share this with a team member, by the way, you can click on share, and that's going to open up a Google share box as if you were just sharing a Google Doc. So you can give people access here, again, as if you were giving them access to a Google Doc, which is a really cool feature. I'm going to click out, and then I'm going to click on start chat. So now we're chatting with Gemini, right? This is a normal Gemini chat in terms of the interface and the UI here. But this is a special version of Gemini that now can act as our ad script writer. All right, now that we have the gem set up, we can put it to work. So let's test it out with some test prompts. So I'm going to say, write a script targeting busy dads who hate taking multiple pills. Use the morning routine framework from the files, right? So I'm referencing that directly from the files. So let's submit that off to Gemini and let it get to work. All right, now let's look at the output here. So it's saying, per your instructions, I've analyzed the request and aligned it with the provided framework, style guides, and compliance guardrail. Framework selected, the morning routine, which when we go into the framework document, it's framework number 1 over here. And it's saying this framework is best suited for showing ease of use and habit stacking, which directly addresses the pain point of a complicated pill routine. It follows the specific timing of the old way struggle versus the new way. Then when we go down here, we have the actual ad script, right? The dad routine, UGC stealthy mode, target busy dads, tone confident and accessible. And here's the actual script. So we've got the timestamps on the left. Second column, we've got the visual scene. And then third column, we've got the audio and the script. So you can see it's following our framework here, right? So the visual hook is a jarring or highly aesthetic movement. When we go into the output, a chaotic bathroom counter, a dad's hand aggressively sweeps 6 different plastic vitamin bottles into a drawer or a bin. It looks jarring. So you can see it's directly following the framework here. Then the old way problem. Briefly mention the struggle of the previous routine. Now, when we go to the audio script, right, I honestly used to hate my morning routine. Choking down 10 different pills before I ever even had my coffee. No thanks. Next, the new way integration. Show the AG1 prep. Then when we come over here, we've got the cut to a clean kitchen counter. He opens the AG1 tin, takes 1 scoop, dumps it into the water, and shakes it. Then we've got the audio or the voiceover. That's why I switched to this. 1 scoop, ice cold water shake. It takes me less than a minute, and I'm done. So you can see our gem is faithfully following our instruction, our knowledge base, and our framework in this example. And it's even giving us a nice compliance check on the bottom that it passed these different steps of not using banned words and using preferred phrasing. And Gemini is also offering to be helpful with the next step to write a variation of the script using framework 2. But let's keep going with another example just to test how reliable this gem can be. So let's paste in a new prompt here. I need a script that addresses the objection. Okay, so objection handling. It's too expensive compared to a multivitamin. Use the skeptic framework. Make sure to mention nutritional insurance. So we'll fire that off. And what we're going to look for here is the skeptic framework down here. So overcoming price objections or snake oil fears. All right, so you can see Gemini come back with the response. So it's confirming the framework that it's selected. And here we've got the same formatting here of our video ad script. Now, when we go into the framework, again, the very first item here is the objection hook, right? Call out the elephant in the room. Is it actually worth the hype? Is it worth the cost? And when we go into the actual script, here is the hook. I hear this all the time. Why would I pay $3 a day for AG1 when I can get a multivitamin for $10? So it's calling out that objection as it is in our framework document. And looking at the second point on our framework number 2, admit that most supplements are trash. So when we go back here, and honestly, I get it, but most of those cheap pills are using low quality synthetic ingredients that your body barely absorbs. So you can see how faithful Gemini is being to the project instructions and to the knowledge documents. So this is just one example of how you can build your own custom Gemini gem. You can share it with your teammates. And now instead of having to provide all of the context about your frameworks, your brand voice, and good examples of your winning ads, Gemini knows all of this in the custom gem. You just have to prompt it for a new script of what you're looking for exactly.